And now, independent and unbiased, here's your weekly Brooklyn market update with Noah and John from UrbanDigs.
Hello, everybody. This is Noah and John, and we are from UrbanDigs, and it is Monday, so you're going to get your Brooklyn weekly market update. John, let's get right to it. I'm looking at Brooklyn supply, 3,423 things. Show me that chart.
Yeah, and book of supply actually ticked up this week. No, that's about 0.2%. And what's interesting is when you look at that supply curve, 2020, 2021 are both sort of on their way down, seasonal pattern in line, right? That sort of once the holidays roll around, supply really starts to fade a little bit. We're not seeing that here. So we're seeing some Brooklyn supply sort of, even though it's lackluster, sort of carry on sideways.
Yeah, so let's see if that tick up is going to actually follow through. I don't think it will be because I have a strange feeling listing data over the next couple of weeks is going to come down, but interesting nonetheless. Thank you, Johnny. Let's shift over to Brooklyn demand, pending sales, all those listings waiting to close, 1,899 of them. Johnny, show me that chart.
Yeah, and pending sales, the demand measure really is not carrying on sideways. It's sort of going down. That's another 3% down on the week, Noah. And this is something that's really still looking for a bottom. You can see it in that curve of those columns that it's kind of getting flatter. But in general, I mean, this is a measure that still hasn't quite found its footing.
Yeah, it hasn't found the bottom yet, but the velocity of that fall is definitely starting to turn a little bit. So, we're not actively in that aggressive slope of decline anymore, but you can see it's trying to find its bottom. And you put those two things, supply and pending sales, and you go to the market pulse chart here on UrbanDigs. And I take a look at where we are right now. We're kind of like where we were like in late 2020 or very early 2021. We basically regressed about 2 years, about almost 2 years at this point. And I just want to point out to everybody, you can see that we bounced off the bottom, but we are just stuck. We are stuck in a range, and you consider where we were for so long. We are just at a different normal. We have reset. In my opinion, we're done resetting, and we're just straggling around at this new lower level. Let's take a look at the weeklies, Johnny, see if there's any clues of what's going on there. I'm looking at Brooklyn supply, 167 things came on the market last week. That's down about 2%. Johnny, show me that chart.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, down 1.8%. And this, in the weekly level, that seasonal pattern is still very much in play. It's just on a much more subdued level, right? We didn't see the wave of listings come in that we saw in 2020 or even 2021, and that wasn't even that much to begin with. But what's interesting here, Noah, and I think this kind of harkens back to that overall supply chart, is you look at the most recent bar here, and it's sort of in line with where it was in 2021. It's almost as if we've been going under trend for so long that as these previous trends have fallen, we've actually caught up. So that could be a bit of a clue on why Brooklyn supply is increasing.
Yeah, that's really, really interesting. Now we're going to go follow up on that as time goes on, and we'll see what happens there. Let's shift over to Brooklyn demand, contract signs. It's always about those bids. 114 deals got signed in the last 7 days. That's up 2.7%. Johnny, show me that chart.
Yeah, it's a tick up. It's 3.5%. We're talking about 4 listings or so. But I think what's important, Noah, is that it's a tick up from a lower level. And when you look at what contract signs have been doing in Brooklyn, they're at a lower level, and they're just sort of following along their lows kind of for the year. They really haven't been able to break out despite this fall busy season. It wasn't really that busy in terms of contract signs, especially when you compare it to last year and the year before. So, as you're going to see when we get into the townhouse market next, spoiler alert, that's what we're talking about. That shift is clearly visible in Brooklyn.
Yeah, and let's go to that chart du jour. Let's go to that Brooklyn market. And this is what it looks like when you put Brooklyn closed sales, median price on a chart for about the last year or so. And you have the red line showing you listing discount from the last ask, negotiability. And you can see, there's usually a correlation between sales price peaking out and that listing discount getting to its lowest point. I mean, it's 1 month apart here, but you could see how we've moved. How has this market shifted? And, it's about 4 months into the shift, and you could see those sales prices falling right there. And look at that listing discount. I mean, we're at 2%, and now you're at 6%. And that is what the data is really showing. And it's incredible just to see it, because the next quarter is really going to reveal the depth of this down cycle. Everyone's asking, how far are we down? And we keep saying, we got to wait. Johnny, what do you see here?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. If you want to just pick a number, it looks roughly like 10% if I'm going to guesstimate. But what's more interesting, Noah, is the fact that it is down, right? And if you looked at the whole left side of that chart, There were no seasonal abnormalities whatsoever. This market just kept on keeping on, and it was a market of just demand was powering through whatever came its way and was just absorbing it, and it kind of reached that peak. And now finally, with the seasonal attributes baking in, and we got the shift as well, we're starting to finally see a little bit of slowdown in this townhouse market. It's manifesting in price. Where it's going to end up, exactly what you said, it's going to take a few quarters to kind of finally figure that answer out.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that really quick before we end here. I mean, look, we do not have September, October, and November. So you signed a deal in September or October or November, we're still waiting. And that's, of course, the whole universe, right? Nobody has that data because it's just too early. So the only thing I would say is that this slope of going from 2 to 6%, I wouldn't expect to see that slope continue like that. Right. I think the majority of the move is going to be priced in here, and I would expect this to kind of top out and round out over the next couple of months. We'll see how that goes. We'll report on it. And the same thing goes for this down cycle. I would not expect the next 3 months to show this going straight down like that. I would expect something more along the lines of this starting to narrow and bottom and that slope. And that's the point. I'm saying this because I see deal activity bouncing back from these levels, and it takes a couple of months. I don't know if we are in a aggressive decline right now. We already went through the macro aggressive decline. And if we are declining right now, it's probably a minor decline here and there based on specific situations. So we will follow up with this. Johnny, thank you so much for pulling up this townhouse data. It's always very useful. That is John Walkup. I am Noah Rosenblatt. We're both from UrbanDigs. Don't forget, you got questions, we got answers. Please visit our forum right down here. And if you want any of the charts that John whipped up today, it'll be right over here in just a few moments. Other than that, this has been your Brooklyn Weekly Market Update, and we'll catch you next time.